Something strange is happening inside McLaren. Just a few weeks ago, Oscar Piastri looked unstoppable, dominating qualifying sessions, conquering races, and holding a commanding lead in the championship. He stood as the 2025 championship favorite, the young Australian prodigy leading the title race with calm precision and blistering speed. After dominating the first half of the season, he held a seemingly safe advantage over teammate Lando Norris. Yet now, that advantage has evaporated into thin air. The same car that once terrified the grid suddenly feels like an anchor, dragging him down race after race. And that's what makes the current situation so unsettling. Piastri hasn't changed, his talent hasn't vanished, but his performance has fallen off a cliff just as Norris's form has skyrocketed. From Austin to Sao Paulo, the tables have completely turned and fans, analysts, and even rival teams are starting to ask the unthinkable. Did McLaren sabotage Piastri to hand the crown to Lando Norris? Or has something been quietly adjusted? Something that makes Piastri's MCL 39 just a little less sharp, a little less alive? Stay tuned, because in this video, we're going deep into the mystery that's shaking McLaren to its core. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe, because what's happening right now could completely redefine the 2025 Formula One title fight, and you don't want to miss a single update. When Oscar Piastri arrived in Austin, he looked like a future world champion in waiting, calm, fast, and methodical. He led the championship with a comfortable 22-point cushion over teammate Lando Norris. But in the span of just 3 races, that cushion disintegrated. Now, heading into Las Vegas, he trails Norris by 24 points, a staggering 46-point swing that no one saw coming. And the question being whispered across the paddock is chilling. What happened to Piastri's speed? Statistically, the numbers are brutal. From Australia to Italy, Piastri averaged a qualifying advantage of 0.042 seconds per lap over Norris. Since Azerbaijan, that advantage has reversed. Norris is now an average of 0.245 seconds faster. Piastri's qualifying results have dropped from an average of 2nd to 6th, and he's finishing races nearly 3 positions behind Norris. It's not just a dip in form, it's a complete collapse in competitiveness. Some say pressure is to blame, that the young Australian is simply cracked under the intensity of a title fight. But that theory doesn't add up. Piastri showed no signs of weakness earlier in the year. When the spotlight was brighter and expectations higher, his sudden decline began on circuits like Baku and Mexico City, places that expose a very specific weakness: grip sensitivity. Piastri's driving style depends on precision, smooth inputs, and high cornering speeds. When the car feels planted, he's electric. But when the track offers little grip, his confidence falters. Norris, on the other hand, thrives in chaos. He's comfortable when the rear slides, when the car is nervous, when the tires dance on the edge. On low-grip tracks like Austin and Mexico City, that difference becomes decisive. Even so, this technical explanation only tells part of the story. McLaren's decisions in recent weeks have raised eyebrows. During the Sao Paulo weekend, the team changed Piastri's setup after the sprint, raising the car's ride height to protect the floor. Suddenly, his balance was gone. He described the car as disconnected, struggling for front-end grip. Meanwhile, Norris dominated both the sprint and the main race, winning from pole. Fans began connecting the dots. Every time McLaren brings upgrades, Norris seems to benefit more. Every time setup calls are made, they suit Norris's style better. And every time a key strategy call arises, fortune leans toward the British driver. Is this coincidence or calculated bias? Online forums exploded, with theories suggesting McLaren has shifted its focus to Norris, the homegrown star, in a calculated push for its first driver's title since 2008. Of course, sabotage in Formula One doesn't mean loosening bolts or damaging components. It's more subtle, choosing a marginally different setup direction, giving slightly more aggressive engine modes, or timing pit stops more favorably for one driver. When every 10th of a second counts, these tiny details can swing the outcome of a season. But, to be fair, Norris's improvement this season is undeniable. After his retirement in Zandvoort, something changed. He's been ruthless, efficient, and mentally sharper than ever. His driving has reached another level, extracting maximum pace without mistakes, converting every opportunity. The contrast with Piastri's chaotic weekends couldn't be starker. The Brazil weekend was a perfect storm that showcased this shift in the most painful way possible. Piastri started strong, confident through practice, showing promising pace. But then came the turning point. A slight misjudgment on a damp curb sent him into the barriers. He fought back admirably, clawing his way through the field, only to be hit with a harsh 10-second penalty that almost everyone agreed was excessive. And just when it seemed he could recover, the strategy calls fell apart. A questionable tire choice left him exposed, bleeding lap time. It wasn't a disaster of his own, making just a domino effect of tiny misfortunes, one after another, that spiraled out of control. Meanwhile, everything for Norris clicked perfectly. Every safety car arrived at just the right time. Every pit call felt calculated to precision. Even the changing track conditions seemed to bend in his favor. It wasn't luck alone, it was momentum, that mysterious invisible force that decides races as much as raw speed. When momentum is on your side, it feels like you can do no wrong. When it turns against you, the world seems determined to hold you down. And right now, Piastri is caught in that cycle. Each weekend, he pushes harder to reverse the tide. Each time he gets close, a small setup tweak, a mistimed safety car, or a single corner mistake pulls him back again. Norris, by contrast, is riding that wave to near perfection. His rhythm is effortless, his execution clinical, his confidence unshakable. When a driver reaches that mental flow state, the results almost become inevitable. And yet, despite it all, Piastri hasn't broken. He hasn't lashed out in frustration, nor pointed fingers. His post-race interviews remain composed, his tone steady. He admits this has been the toughest stretch of his young career, but insists it's also been the most valuable. Those are the words of someone thinking like a champion, learning from pain instead of running from it. Every great driver, from Schumacher to Hamilton, faced that phase where the car didn't seem to love them back. It's how they respond that defines what comes next. Still, time is slipping away. With only a handful of races left, the margin for error is gone. The 24-point gap to Norris may look small on paper, but mentally, it feels far heavier. Unless McLaren makes a conscious effort to rebalance its approach or fortune finally smiles on Piastri, his shot at the title may already be fading beyond reach. Inside McLaren, silence speaks louder than statements. No one outside the team truly knows the full story. Maybe the answer is technical. Maybe Piastri's setup philosophy simply diverged too far from the car's sweet spot. Maybe it's psychological, the weight of expectation on young shoulders. Or maybe, as the more cynical voices in the paddock suggest, McLaren has quietly chosen its champion, prioritizing the driver they believe can finally deliver that elusive title. What's undeniable is that this once harmonious partnership has evolved into something far more complex, a silent, internal rivalry wrapped inside a team chasing perfection. What began as McLaren's dream season has morphed into a political thriller, filled with whispers, tension, and unanswered questions. Every move, every pit call, every setup change now feels loaded with meaning. So, what do you think? Has McLaren subtly shifted its loyalty toward Lando Norris, building their campaign around a single driver? Or are we simply witnessing the natural rhythm of a title fight where luck, skill, and timing collide in unpredictable ways? Let me know your thoughts down below. And if you're fascinated by stories like this, the drama behind the data, the emotion behind the engineering, make sure to hit that like button, share your theories in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Because whatever unfolds from here, it's clear. The 2025 Formula One Championship isn't just about speed anymore, it's about trust, momentum, and the thin line between teamwork and rivalry.